Like we talked about on the intent triage, we need to figure out how to survive those first 1 to 2 seconds. We need to kind of build a sort of a subconscious response. And I always liken it to touching a hot stove. Nobody touches a hot stove, ow, that's really hot, I better pull my finger away. And by the time your brain has processed that it's hot, your finger has already moved away. That's kind of what we'd like to try to access, that same thing. So we find ourselves on the ground through no intent of our own. Whether we slip, trip, the guy knocked us down, the guy took us down, doesn't matter. I need to put my body in the best position that can keep us conscious and mobile and in the fight. So there's 3 aspects to what I call survival position. The first one is I have to orient and face the threat. I cannot look away. I cannot do the fetal thing. The problem with the fetal thing is it makes us feel safe. We're protecting all of the juicy goodness on the inside. The problem is there's all of this that's still just as vulnerable. Plus, I can't see what he's doing. If we see something coming, it's easier to deal with. In boxing, you always hear the person say the punch that knocks you out is the one you don't see coming. Because you see it coming, even if it's that big puncher, you almost can do this, oh, here it comes, and you brace yourself for it. But if I'm looking away, I don't see anything. I can't brace myself, I don't know. And if we're talking about being in a weapons-based environment, possibility of multiple opponents, yeah, okay, I'm protected, but I don't know. I don't know, is he getting ready to drop an elbow on my skull? Is he getting ready to drive a knee into my spine? Is he getting a gun out, a knife out? So I need to be oriented as best I can to the threat. I need to see him, and I need to have my energy being able to at least face that way. Okay, so that's our first principle, survival position. Orient towards the threat. The second part is I need to keep my elbows to my ribs. Why? Again, like going to the fetal position, there's a tendency we have of using our arms, especially in the West. We have a tendency to use our arms to try to do stuff. I'm going to keep him away. I'm going to push you away. The problems with that, number one, is our arms aren't going to really be that strong, especially relatively speaking. I'm trying to push away a guy who outweighs me by 100 pounds, who already has the initiative. Man, the chance at that working is pretty remote. The other part of it is my arms are out and extended. He can control, he can attack those arms. He can latch onto those arms. In a jiu-jitsu circumstance, he can attack and break that arm. Also, once he gets his hip behind my arms, he just turns and drives into me. Now I'm in a far worse position. And now my head is vulnerable, my neck is vulnerable, and my arms are now, I don't want to say they're out of the fight, but I have no leverage, I have no strength trying to do this in some kind of position. So straightening my arms does nothing. But if I go, all right, my elbows to my ribs. So number one, if my elbows are to my ribs, the rest of my arms are going to be somewhere around my head and neck. It's sort of human nature. They have to be somewhere there. They can't be too far away. My elbows are my ribs. The hands are somewhere good. What this also does, so it makes sure that my elbows are kind of keeping his hips and his legs from taking a better, stronger position on the ground. So I'm already, at least, if not negating it, I'm slowing him down, to almost eliminating his chance to attack my arms, and my hands are already in the right position to help defend my head, whether he's striking, whether he's choking. Plus, in combination with the fact that I'm oriented towards him, if my hands are here and I see him go for the weapon, I'm in a much better position to at least try to do something, try to control the limbs, try to stuff that draw, as opposed to having somewhere flailing away, or even worse, holding onto him from behind. So, elbows to ribs. If I don't have a specific offensive reason to do something with my arms, I want my elbows to my ribs. The third part of the tripod for survival position is this concept that I call unflattening. The idea is we have 6 points of contact with the ground when we are on the ground. It's got our shoulder blades, our hips, and the soles of our feet. Now, most of the time, I have to have the soles of my feet. Absolutely, I have to have at least one always in contact. I need that ability for traction. I need that ability to have sort of a kickstand to withstand that energy, to give me a good solid base, an ability to drive against him. So I'm always probably having one, if not both feet, actually attached to the ground. But the other 4 points, my 2 hips and my shoulder blades, if I can start to get them off the ground, I increase my ability to move. So if Brad's on top of me and I'm completely flat, I have all 6 points in contact, just hold me down. If I have 6 points and I try to move, yeah, I can move a little bit, but it's not that much. If I think, okay, I'm going to try to lift one part off the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my outside hip. I'm going to use that foot, the one that I said that we have to have that traction. I'm going to lift that foot and drive with it, and now I can bring the hip off the ground. So I still have the other hip and the shoulder blades in contact with the ground. But then we'll see, can I move more just from that position? So I'm going to use the same energy. He's holding me down with the same energy, and I'm just going to move. Oh, I can move a lot more. Am I escaping yet? No, that's not the point. But with the same energy, I've made it harder for him to do something, and I've increased my ability to move. So let's add to that. So now I'm going to use that kickstand foot, not just to lift my far hip, but also my far shoulder. So I'll have the near hip and the near shoulder on the mat, but the other two will be off the mat. So we'll be in the same exact position. He'll hold me down with the same energy, and all I'm going to try to do is move. And now, oh yeah, I can significantly move more. Okay, so the whole idea with unflattening is I want to remove as many of those other 4 points, my 2 hips, my 2 shoulder blades. The more I can remove them from the ground, the more movement I'm going to have. Now, obviously, if I get all 4 points off the ground, I'm standing up, which is another good thing to do. But at the very least, try to get 1 point. Oh, that's good, I can do more. Okay, 2 points, good. 3 points. The more I can unflatten, the more I'm going to be able to move, which increases my chance of escaping, makes it harder for him to finish the fight, makes him harder to control me. It opens up that pathway, literally by just immediately being in that position. So I build that. I want to teach my body to do those 3 things. Orient towards the threat, elbows to ribs, and unflatten. I want my body to be doing that without particular conscious thought. It's not, I'm going to do this. I train, I practice, and my body goes, yes, I'm on the ground. This is where we should be. Not completely flat, not lying down and letting the guy smash us. So that's the point of survival position, to make it that automatic response.